I am Urpita Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor of English, Swami Vivekananda Institute of Science and Technology. Previously, I have discussed on communication, the basics of communication and the verbal non-verbal communication. Today our topic is group discussion. In this form of group communication, a particular number of people, approximately 3 to 8, meet face to face and through free oral interaction originate, share, and discuss ideas to arrive at a decision or solution to a problem. Group discussions are widely used in many organizations for decision making and problem solving. They are also used widely as a personality test for evaluating several candidates simultaneously. They help to shortlist candidates for a final interview, to select personnel for positions of responsibility, especially in the service sector, and also to select students for admission to professional institutes. Particularly for the engineering students, this group discussion is very important, and now I wish to discuss in an elaborate way on this topic. The Indian Defence Forces were the first to tap the potential of group discussion and incorporate them to their battery of tests for recruitment of officers. Since then, group discussion have become popular with various recruiting bodies because of their operational ease and effective in terms of both time and cost. Now, it is widely used in many organizations for decision making and problem solving. Already I have told you. Moreover, they are also used widely as a personality test for evaluating several candidates simultaneously. They help to shortlist candidates for a final interview, to select personnel for positions of responsibilities. Now, if I just make a summary of it, in most reputed business schools require students to participate in a group discussion before moving to the final stage of selection procedure, the interview. In a few cases, the group discussion may not be an elimination round. That is, every person who participates in the group discussion also gets an opportunity to appear for the interview. Now let us go through the two categories of group discussion, namely organizational group discussions, group discussion as a part of selection process. What is organizational group discussion? People who are brainstorming should ideally come from a wide range of disciplines and have divergent social and cultural backgrounds. The more diverse the group, the more likely it is to generate unexpected insights, ideas, and connections. That is the truth about group discussion. Now, in any organization, in organizations, the group discussions are mainly used for group decision making. Members of the interacting group take the responsibility of explaining their ideas and arriving as a consensus. GD can help to reduce the many problems inherent in the traditional interactive groups. The word traditional refers to an organizational setup where hierarchy is given much importance. In such organizations, the GD making process may involve groupthink. A team suffering from groupthink will place so much value on maintaining loyalty, unity, and agreement that critical thinking and open inquiry are prevented. The participants may censor themselves and pressure other group members into agreement. So, three important parts of these are brainstorming, nominal group technique, Delphi technique. The first one already I have told you that brainstorming is a method for generating a variety of ideas and perspective. It is as uncritical as possible because criticism inhibits the free flow of ideas. A group of 6 to 12 people sit around a table. The group leader states the problem in a clear manner so that all participants understand it. Members then suggest as many alternatives as they can in a given length of time and write them down on a blackboard, whiteboard, flip chart, or a piece of paper. No criticism is allowed, and all the alternatives are recorded for later discussion and analysis. So there are two types of brainstorming technique. One is storyboarding, one is lotus blossom. In storyboarding, participants identify major issues and brainstorm each of them. It is often used to solve complex problems. The second one means the lotus blossom technique. A core thought is presented and participants provide 8 ideas surrounding it like the petals of a lotus blossom, as it were. Then each of these ideas become a core thought to be surrounded by a further set of 8 ideas and so forth, until participants can no longer generate ideas or until decision makers feel that they have a good grasp of the problem and potential creative solution. So brainstorming, however, is mainly a process for generating ideas. The other two techniques, the nominal group technique and the Delphi technique, go further by offering methods to actually arrive at a suitable solution. What is nominal group technique? It restricts discussion on interpersonal communication during the decision-making process, and hence the term nominal group. Members meet as a group, but before any discussion takes place, each member independently and silently writes down his or her ideas on the problem. Each member takes his or her turn going around the table and presenting a single idea until all ideas have been presented and recorded, typically on a flip chart or chalkboard. No discussion takes place until all ideas have been recorded. The group now discuss the ideas for clarity and evaluates them. Each group member silently and independently orders the ideas. The final decision is determined by the idea with the highest aggregate ranking. The chief advantage of the nominal group technique is that it permits the group to meet formally but does not restrict independent thinking, which an interacting group might do. Now the Delphi technique, it is a more complex and time-consuming alternative in group decision making. It is similar to the nominal group technique, except that it does not require the physical presence of the group members. In fact, this technique never allows the group members to meet face to face. What are the steps? The problem is identified and the members are asked to provide potential solutions through a series of carefully designed questionnaires. Each member anonymously and independently completes the first questionnaire. The result of the first questionnaire are compiled at a central location, transcribed and reproduced. Each member receives a copy of the results. After viewing the results, the member are again asked for their solutions. The results typically trigger new solutions or cause changes in the original position. So steps 4 and 5 are repeated as often as necessary until consensus is reached. Like the nominal group technique, the Delphi technique insulates group members from the undue influences of others. So, because it does not require the physical presence of the participants, the Delphi technique can be used for decision making in geographically scattered groups. And now it is also an important part of selection procedure. Earlier I mentioned, so GD conducted for the selection of candidates for a job or for admission to any professional institutions are well formulated devices for judging the personality of candidates, their communication skills, knowledge, and their ability to work as a team. So, what are the characteristics? Typically, in a GD conducted for job selection, candidates are given a topic or case for discussion. Normally, groups of 8 to 10 candidates are formed into a leaderless group and are given a specific situation to analyze and discuss within a given time limit of about 30 minutes. Suppose they may be given a case study and asked to come up with a solution, or they may be given a topic and asked to discuss the same. So what are the evaluation components? During a GD, employers evaluate your potential for leadership and also your ability to work in a team. The four components generally evaluated in a GD: knowledge, communication skills, group behavior, leadership potential. These refer to the depth and range of your knowledge as well as your analytical and organizational abilities. You should be able to grasp the situation and analyze it, not just at a mundane level, but from the widest perspective. So some knowledge of the topic concerned, supported by common sense, will enable you to win laurels. The greater your knowledge of the subject, the more interested, enthusiastic, and confident you will be, and also the more fluent and forceful your contribution will be to the discussion. Of course, your contribution must be relevant, rational, convincing, and above all, interesting and appealing to the selection panel. So, during a GD, you will be assessed in terms of active listening, clarity of thought and expression, apt language, appropriateness of body language. Listening is as important as speaking in a GD. Unless you listen to others, you may not be able to continue the discussion in the right direction. As participants are interdependent in a GD, it is extremely necessary to listen very carefully. Only then you will be able to pick up the thread of discussion and continue. It is easy for the selection panel to identify poor listeners as their discussion lacks continuity. So our next point is clarity of expression. The panel's perception of candidate's personality and his or her ability to influence and convince others depends greatly on using the right tone, voice, and articulation. It is not sufficient to have ideas. They have to be expressed effectively. More than words, it is the tone in which they are spoken that conveys the message. For example, if a tone that orders in abrasive, it may hurt the listener's self-esteem. So it is essential to cultivate an appropriate tone also. So in case of tone, quality or character of the voice expressing a particular feeling or mood. Voice, correct projection of voice. Articulation, act of speaking or expressing an idea in words. Fluency, speaking or writing in an essay. Easy flowing style. Modulation, variation in tone or volume of voice. Good delivery. Ideas expressed fluently in the right voice, right tone, right articulation. Our next point is apt language. Your language should be accurate, free of grammatical errors. Also, it should be direct, clear, precise, with your ideas flowing in an organized fashion. So do not use long, winding sentences. Rather, you should try to keep your language simple and unambiguous. Do not use jargon which neither your group mates nor you understand. It does not strengthen your case. On the contrary, you may end up in trouble during the interview that usually follows the GD if the same panel is evaluating both. If you have used the term competitive advantage indiscriminately during the group discussion and are asked to explain it in the interview, you shouldn't be caught on the wrong foot. Moreover, using too much of jargon, high-sounding words, or ambiguous expressions may project you as a show-off and will certainly not endear you to your group members. So you should maintain your appropriate body language. So take care of your appearance and try to be as natural as possible. You should not appear to be self-conscious. So, and the last point is leadership qualities. The success of any team depends to a large extent on its leader. A group content cannot carry on its assigned work effectively without a leader. So we need all these qualities like consistency in participation, keenness in listening and observing, time sharing and orderly conduct, ability to handle turbulent situation, ability to cut excessively exuberant participant down to size, ability to dominate the proceedings without bullying others, avoiding personal comments, because at the end of the day group discussion is a group process. So this is the end of the discussion on group discussion. Thank you very much.